like we have conversations about all sorts of stuff and very suchy subjects, very suchy subject, very touchy subjects.
Oh, yeah.
Come back.
The Mr. Girl stuff's been pretty crazy.
It's been
Mouthy,
ridiculous.
I wanted to ask you about that.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Okay.
Good, how are you?
I'm doing all right.
Good luck to both of you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Not to Mouthy though.
I like.
Mouthy, really quick behind the scenes. For the Mr. Girl
You're not
thing,
behind the scenes. Tom's streaming right now.
He is? Okay, well, screw it. It's not off time. So let's be clear. His position is that he, thinks pedophilia is cool.
So the way I understand it, the take is just that, well, at least the way I understand it, I think it's just the idea that, like, look, obviously, child abuse is something we all oppose. Child pornography is something we all oppose. But there's no reason to necessarily stigmatize, like, pedophiles who are non-offending and have no intention to offend. And in fact, the argument sometimes goes that stigmatizing non-offending pedophiles can lead them to feel more internalized guilt, which makes them less likely to be able to seek therapy. And obviously that increases their risk of harming children.
Mhm.
And so we want to create an environment where we're not, unnecessarily stigmatizing people in such a way that we're leading to more children being abused.
I mean, Pedro, we talked about this the other day, like right before their conversation. I think we went over this on the Christmas trash talk extravaganza, where we were talking about the fact that, like, a lot of people stigmatize pedophilia a little bit too much to where they're not likely to go to a counselor or to, like, go try to find help because they're afraid that somebody would like beat the crap out of them or kill them or something. And then when we were talking about, there were even people in y'all's chat saying, yeah, I know social workers who said that they think that we should just line all pedophiles up against a wall and murder them all. And I'm like, well, yeah, this is kind of the point, right? Like, this is the problem.
Right. Okay. So he has not offended. This is where I get kind of wonky. If he hasn't offended, he's not a pedophile.
No, it's a pedophile is somebody who thinks children who are prepubescent are attractive. Somebody who offends is a child molester.
Okay. Because, I mean, this is a dangerous loose definition, because what you're saying is this. Say you're in the mall and you see a girl and you don't know her age, you don't know anything, and boom, she's attractive.
Pedro,
Right?
Pedro, you gotta work about this later. We're going live in 15 seconds.
Oh, yeah, okay, cool.
Don't worry,
cool.
we can get into it a little bit later.
Later.
If that were the case, I think psychopaths can still suffer,
Well,
yeah, I mean, fuck them. They're psychopaths. Right?
Well, Mouthy, can we get into this conversation, actually? We were talking about it behind the scenes a little bit, the Mr. Girl thing, right?
Sure.
You said you're agnostic, right?
Agnostic about Mr. Girl?
No.
I'm pretty sure he exists.
No. I know he exists.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like,
As a psychopath. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
there is a serious part in Destiny's conversation with Mr. Girl that I actually wanted to ask you about, and it's the part where Destiny actually asked him if God ever appeared in front of him, would he believe that there is a God? And he says, and this is the atheist that I'm used to actually dealing with out in the street when I used to actually, like, do street street evangelism. There we go. He said, no, even if God appeared right before my eyes in all his glory, I would think I'm tripping and I'm hallucinating and I think this is false. That's a real atheist. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, so, well, yeah, I mean, if I saw God in front of me, I would be like, oh, I'm probably just tripping. But, I mean, I guess I imagine there's a way in which God could appear to me. Like, if God appeared to me I don't know, like reached deep into my soul and was like, yeah, I don't know, like I imagine there's some type of experience that I could have such that it would cause me to believe God exists. But if I just like I couldn't really describe to you, like that's just sort of like an intuition. Like I imagine there's some type of experience that would lead me to believe in God. But like if I just like saw something and I was like, oh, that looks like God, I would just the default assumption would be that I'm just tripping.
Gotcha. Okay. And then do you see how like where badly that leads? Like this is where, in my opinion, I'm not saying every atheist is, you know, a self-professed child sex offender. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. But
Okay.
isn't that world like where the worldview leads? If there is enough of him in a certain place you know, in a particular time, that would be their moral system. It's okay.
Well, I don't think that MrGirl is a pedophile, and I don't think he's pro child abuse. I actually, you know, this is gonna be the hottest
I
take
agree
of
with
the
you.
night, but I don't think that MrGirl has any substantive beliefs about the subject of pedophilia that I actually disagree with. I just take MrGirl to be saying that uh, child abuse is bad, child porn is bad, child porn should be illegal, child abuse should be illegal, and it should be discouraged. But there's no reason to stigmatize non-offending pedophiles, and in fact, doing so can be kind of harmful. And you know, so I don't think that MrGirl actually has any normative prescriptions about the subject of pedophilia that I strongly disagree
Mouthy,
with.
would you consider pedophilia to be abnormal?
I would think so. I think since just in the sense that most people
So
aren't
hang on. So
pedophiles.
I know
if
what
you
you're
think,
getting at, but
if you think it's abnormal, right,
Mhm.
and you want to destigmatize it, wouldn't you be normalizing it?
Well, so when we say destigmatize, we don't mean that we want to say that it's okay to molest children, or that it's normal, or that it should be socially acceptable to molest children. The point is just that we want to create an environment where we're saying, look, yes, child molestation is bad. We want to do whatever we can to prevent it from occurring. And so we want to create a situation where, yes, we are acknowledging that pedophilia is bad, or that child molestation is bad, but we're trying to create an environment such that non-offending pedophiles who need help feel comfortable to seek therapy and get the help that they need, so that they don't end up harming any
But
children.
non-offending pedophiles are still pedophiles, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, and that you just said that that's abnormal.
Mhm.
But if you want to get rid of the stigma, that would be normalizing it.
I don't think so.
Yeah, how would it not be a normalization of pedophilia? If I were to ask you if you wanted to get rid of the stigma against homosexuals and you said yes, and then I said to normalize it, wouldn't you say yes?
normalizing it would be making it acceptable and making it to where more people could do this in the open.
How is that not making it acceptable?
Oh, so we would be making pedophilia acceptable. Like
right.
we would be saying,
yes, that's right. I got it.
Wait, I don't want to get clipped out of context though. So what I'm saying is that we would be saying that it's not necessarily bad. It doesn't necessarily make you a bad person that you have pedophilic urges, but it is bad to molest children. It's bad to harm children. It's not bad to have that desire. And we want a situation wherein people who have that desire are seeking the help that they need so that they don't actually end up harming children.
Yeah, no, I get it. But the problem is that if you consider a person to be a pedophile who molests children, and you consider a person to be a pedophile who does not molest children, but just has the urge to molest children, and then you say that you want to get rid of the stigma against people who want to but don't, you're still normalizing pedophilia. I don't see how you can like evade from that.
So well, look, I think this is just going to come down to a semantic. I wasn't understanding what you're saying. Like, if by normalize pedophilia, you only mean what I just said. So when you say, do you want to normalize pedophilia? And by normalize pedophilia, you just mean create an environment where pedophiles feel comfortable seeking the help that they need so that they don't end up harming children, and where we're not necessarily saying that you're a bad person just because you have pedophilic urges that you can't control. If that's what you mean by normalized, then yes, I do advocate for that normalization in that sense. But I guess when you said normalization originally, I sort of interpret that as like, do you want to make it seem morally acceptable to molest children? And of course, I would not argue for that.
Yeah,
No,
there
I'm
can.
not saying that you would argue for that. I'm just saying that
Sure,
if you
yeah,
consider
if that's
both to be pedophiles and you want the stigma to go away for the non-offending pedophiles, and you are trying to normalize pedophilia.
Sure, if that's what you mean by if what you mean by normalized pedophilia is what I said,
don't know.
then yes.
Well,
yeah.
I don't know how else it could be explained.
Well, the way that I originally interpreted it was just, by normalized pedophilia, we mean we make it culturally acceptable that, like, the idea that there's nothing wrong with harming children. But if that's not what you mean, then yes, I do agree with you that we should normalize pedophilia.
Well, Mouthy, can we go back for a second really quick? It's weird to me when people say non-offending pedophiles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you describe to me further, and then you say this person has never actually been in a has never actually sexually abused a child. Mm-hmm. In my eyes, when you say that, okay, that guy's not a pedophile, and then when I run through a scenario which I think is very real, where, for example, a guy
I explained this earlier,
mall,
the difference between a pedophile and a child molester.
There's a difference?
Yes, a pedophile is one who just has an attraction to prepubescent children. A child molester is someone who actually molests children. So just having the urge doesn't mean that you're actually touching children. It just means that you have the urge. You have the attraction.
Yeah, so you want to normalize pedophilia. You don't want to normalize child molestation.
Correct.
But of course, normalizing pedophilia most certainly isn't going to lead towards normalization of child molestation, right?
Because there are levels to this.
No, I actually think the opposite.
These things just never go in a straight line, do they?
Well, no. I would argue
them getting help more easily means that hopefully there will be less children molested, right? So it would actually do the opposite of that.
So there's actually substantial evidence that, look, there's a very straightforward logic to it, which is just like, look, when we stigmatize pedophilia more, then non-offending pedophiles feel more internal guilt. They feel on the inside like, oh, I'm a monster. Nobody can ever find out about what I am.
They are fucking monsters.
But firstly, I would say,
bro, they're monsters. They want children. They're monsters.
I would say that you are a bad person if you molest a child. But I'm not comfortable morally condemning somebody because they just have a particular desire, even if they don't act on it.
Why not?
So if we just have somebody who who was born and just, or maybe they were, because a lot of pedophiles, they themselves were molested as children, or maybe for some people it's a genetic thing. So if we just have somebody who is either born with an attraction to child, or they developed it in adolescence because they were molested or something like that, and so they just have this urge to harm children, but they never act on it. In fact, they're such a moral person that they never go around children. They actively seek therapy so that they can avoid harming children. They never put any children at risk because they realize that it's wrong to harm children. I don't think that's an immoral person. I think that's a moral person who had an unfortunate set of desires that they were bestowed upon, but they're dealing with those desires in a moral way because they're not allowing it to cause them to harm other people. But with respect to the effects of destigmatizing pedophilia, the argument is just this. This is the straightforward argument. It's if when pedophilia is stigmatized, pedophiles feel more internal guilt. They feel like they're monsters. They feel all this guilt. Them feeling this guilt leads them less likely. Well, it's not good because it's not good because I don't think they're necessarily immoral. I don't think they deserve to suffer. But it's also not good because really quickly, just
go ahead.
To finish
we
this.
need to straighten this up, though. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, but let him go. Let him finish.
So the point is just that when they feel this internal guilt, they're less likely to come out. They're less likely to see a therapist because they feel this internal guilt, right? You're not going to see a therapist for something because you're too ashamed to let anyone know about it. And that internal guilt, which leads to them not seeing a therapist, makes them more likely to offend, right? Because obviously one of the main ways in which we can get pedophiles not to offend people is by getting them the help that they need so that they can deal with these urges in a healthy way, and stigmatizing pedophilia counts against that. So
Mouthy explains things in a very, very, very wordy way, so I like to try to condense them down real quick. BPF, do you believe it's okay to like condemn somebody for an immutable characteristic, or like something that they did that they couldn't help, or a characteristic about them that they can't help?
Absolutely not, and I don't believe that pedophilia is an immutable characteristic.
Okay, so that's where the disagreement would be.
Mm-hmm.
But
Just,
Tom,
like I don't believe homosexuality is an immutable characteristic.
yeah, because Tom, this is what I feel like, and I'm not saying you're on that side.
Now, by the way, before anybody fucking goes ape shit, hang on. Before anybody goes ape shit, I mentioned these two things as being things I don't consider immutable characteristics. I wasn't conflating them and saying one is the other. Wasn't trying to do that. Before anybody freaks the fuck out, I wasn't saying anything like that.
Of course.
All right. What I feel like this argument that the other side is proposing is doing is unnecessarily opening your chest up for a giant spear to come through it because of this one factor. I don't think anybody is a pedophile until they actually commit the act, have gone through trial, and have said, yes, he did do that, right? What you guys are now parroting...
But do you think gay if they never had sex with a man, even if they're only attracted to men?
No, I don't think that person's gay. He's not
Definitionally, these would be incorrect, though. That's not how we use these words.
Well, definitionally, we can make up whatever fucking definitions we want.
You can,
sure,
but
so
I'm a linguist.
Hold on. Definitions we want.
Hold on.
We agree with what they are, can't we, Tom?
No, well, as somebody in pragmatics, what we try to do is take what an underlying understanding that people have about these words and apply that to the way that we use them.
Okay, well, let's look at how people pragmatically look at homosexuality. If you fuck a man, as a man, you're homosexual, and if you don't, you're not. That's how they pragmatically look at it, don't they, Tom?
I don't think so. I think somebody would say
if
I said yes, hold on. If I said I want to go have sex with that dude over there, he is so hot, you would say, dude, you're gay. But I didn't do anything. I didn't have sex with him. So why am I gay just because I want to have sex with him?
You said that you had a desire to do that, right?
Yes.
Meaning that you would have sex with him, right?
No, it's the desire that makes them gay. Not what I would do or what I have done, but it's the desire that makes me gay.
What is desire?
We could think of So I think the point that Tom's making is true, right? So for example, we could imagine somebody, no attraction to women, thinks women are gross, loves men, is hyper attracted to every man they see, has a strong desire to have sexual intercourse with men. However, this person is like raised in a traditionalist religious family,
Christian household,
right? So they would never have sex with a man, but they super want to. They're only attracted to men, but they wouldn't have sex with a man. I mean, that person's obviously gay. I mean, just like
no, he's not gay. He's not gay. He's a man.
Okay.
Look, you describe him as gay, but we would describe him as a guy who is not dominated by his desires.
Tell me what is the problem with the definition of saying that you're not gay unless you engage in homosexuality?
There's no problem. Like, we can make up whatever definitions we want. I would just say that the definition. I would just say that the definition you guys are using isn't the definition that everyone else is using. That's all.
I think it is. I think that our definition of you want to bone dudes or you're boning dudes.
No, come on.
You even just admitted.
Okay,
hold on. Because you guys already admitted that that's not the definition you're using. If I say I like that guy, he's hot, you would call me gay. So that means
we call you gay because we're bros and we're just messing with you.
No,
we don't actually think you're gay.
No, you would call me. No, but if I thought that guys were hot, yes, I would be gay.
Yes, because the inference is that you want to have sex with them.
Yes, that's the desire.
If you want to have sex with them, you would have sex with them.
No,
what
not
you
necessarily.
would do doesn't
not necessarily.
Matter.
So what if like BPF? What if Pedro pilled you on not smoking anymore? Pedro convinced you not to smoke, right? And you decided, all right, for the sake of my long-term health, never smoking again. Don't you think we could say that you, straight edge Andrew, would want to smoke, but they wouldn't do it, right?
But Andrew's not a smoker anymore. That's the point, right?
No, but he wants to.
So okay, so I see. So you're saying if I want to, so what happens if I have like a relapse?
Well,
Now,
I mean,
now let me ask you this: if you don't smoke, Mouthy, aren't you called a non-smoker?
Yes, but the
Would you
point
call somebody
is-
who doesn't smoke a smoker?
That's not his
No.
point, though. His point is that your desire doesn't mean that that's what you are actually doing or that what
Right.
you're
That's our
going to
fucking
do.
point. Your
We're just saying-
desire is
I'm just
not
saying that-
what
I'm
makes
just
you-
saying
that's
that-
exactly our point, Tom. Is that your desire to do the thing doesn't make you the thing; it's doing the thing that makes you the thing.
No.
Your desires do
but
not
my
dictate
point-
your character. It's your actions.
But my point
these
is that,
labels
so
only
the point-
describe the desire. That's all they're describing.
Right.
Fuck, we end up in a
Pedophilia,
team
being
debate.
gay.
You're the worst moderator ever, Tom.
Yeah, me and
I'm
Tom are
kidding.
just saying. Me and Tom are just saying that. on
I'm
the one
moderating
hand-
to tell you you're wrong.
Oh,
You're
So,
welcome.
so on the one hand, my point with the smoking thing is just to say that there's not some necessary entailment. Like you can have a desire to do something without it being the case that you would do that thing. But what me and Tom are saying is that when we're talking about the concept of homosexuality, how it's generally defined is we're just like homosexuality is same-sex attraction, right? It's not like, there can be a gay person who's never had
that's
sex
bullshit.
with a man.
You don't define it that way. You define it as same gender attraction.
Okay, sure.
I don't,
But,
but-
I'm just
Yeah.
saying,
You
I
it's
don't,
about the
but-
attraction.
So
right?
that's bullshit
But the-
right off the gate. You're full of shit, Mouthy. You define it. You don't even define it as
Yeah.
same sex.
The
Damn,
underlying
got
reason
him.
is
Like
like-
all out there.
We're just talking about that. The point is just that it's the attraction that's relevant, not the actual act of having sex. Like, because by your definition, like no virgin could ever be gay or straight. But
Right.
I mean, I just think that's not how people use the term.
But here, let's just work with a real life scenario. Regular dude walking through the mall, sees a girl, walks up to her, says, "Hey, I think you're attractive. My name is such and such. Would you like to go out sometime?" She informs him, "Oh, I am 17, still in high school. I'm sorry, I cannot, obviously interact with you." He says, "Oh, my bad, mistake," and walks away. Is that man a pedophile?
She would have
No,
to
I
be
don't think so.
prepubescent. She's not prepubescent. She's 17 years old. We're talking about
And I-
people who are like 11 years or younger.
So that's one
Okay.
part. That's one part is that like generally if you're just attracted to like 17 or 16-year-olds, that's generally not like pedophilia. Like pedophilia has to be prepubescent. But another point is just that I don't think oh man, do I even want to go here? I don't think that it's enough to be attracted to like one underage like even if pedophilia was defined that way, I don't think it would be enough to be attracted to like one underage person before you find out
That's
that
the
they're
thing that
underage.
MrGirl convinced me of, is that pedophilia
right.
isn't a binary. It is more of a spectrum. And that surprised me that he actually
Throw
convinced
the
me
whole
of
spectrum into hell, dude. No, just
Everything's a fucking spectrum, man. Fuck.
Yeah.
Can't we just be concise about some shit? You know what I mean? Like, here's something. Let's just all agree on this. We'll make
It makes us
right?
more concise to call it a
You
spectrum.
can't fuck kids, right? That's easy. We'll just all
Yes.
agree that that's
Yeah,
true,
sure.
and that's good enough.
Okay.
very simple.
We've
Very
ended
good,
up on a
right?
we've ended up on a happy point of agreement.
Yeah.
We
Right.
should